Welcome back, crime doc enthusiasts. Today we're diving into the chilling depths of true crime with a focus on a story that has captivated minds worldwide. The intriguing case of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Join us as we unravel the layers of deception, mystery, and shocking revelations in this gripping crime doc special. If you're passionate about true crime and crave the details behind the headlines, you're in the right place. Let's explore the enigma of Gypsy Rose Blanchard together. Don't forget to subscribe for more riveting crime doc content. Let the investigation begin. More than 8 years after she plotted to kill her mother in a bizarre Munchausen syndrome by proxy case that grabbed national attention, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is now out of prison and has big plans. According to the Cincinnati Enquirer, Blanchard was released on parole from the Chillicothe Correctional Center at around 3:30 a.m. Thursday after serving 85% of her 10-year sentence for second-degree murder. "I'm ready for freedom," she told People in an interview just before her release. "I'm ready to expand, and I think that goes for every facet of my life." Blanchard, now 32, conspired with an ex-boyfriend to kill her mother, Claudine Dee Blanchard, in June 2015 after suffering years of abuse. Experts have surmised that Dee suffered from Munchausen by proxy, a mental disorder in which a caretaker makes someone sick or gives the illusion of being ill in order to garner attention. She led doctors in the community to believe that Gypsy Rose suffered from an array of fake illnesses, such as asthma, leukemia, and muscular dystrophy, subjecting her to unnecessary treatments and procedures. No free, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is eager to share her side of the tragic saga that changed her life forever in a new TV interview and book. Gypsy Rose wants people to learn from her mistake. In her recent interview with People, Blanchard expressed remorse about her mother's murder and the events that preceded it. Blanchard testified she met ex-boyfriend Nicholas Gaudejon on a Christian dating website in 2012, and they initially carried out a secret relationship. They met in person for the first time in March 2015, and shortly after began plotting to kill her mother. Gaudejon stabbed Dee 17 times inside her home in June 2015. Gypsy said in 2018 she talked him into it because she wanted to be free from her mother. Gaudejon was eventually found guilty of first-degree murder in 2018 and sentenced to life in prison. "If I had another chance to redo everything, I don't know if I would go back to when I was a child and tell my aunts and uncles that I'm not sick and mommy makes me sick, or if I would travel back to just the point of that conversation with Nick and tell him, you know what, I'm going to go tell the police everything. I kind of struggle with that," she told People in December 2023. Gypsy Rose now wants to use her story to help people in abusive relationships. No matter how dire the circumstances, she wants to make sure they don't resort to murder. It may seem like every avenue is closed off, but there's always another way. Do anything, but don't take this course of action. She said she is married now. Years removed from her relationship with Gaudejon, Blanchard found love while imprisoned. She married Ryan Scott Anderson, a teacher from Louisiana, in June 2022. He is now 37, and the couple will reportedly live together in Louisiana. According to People, Anderson picked Blanchard from prison when she was released December 28. The couple has kept details of their relationship, including how they met, private. However, Blanchard is expected to talk about her new beau in the upcoming 3-part Lifetime doc series, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, which airs January 5 to 7 at 8 p.m. In 2021, Gypsy Rose told the Springfield News later she hoped to rebuild relationships with the rest of her family upon her eventual release. Her stepmother, Christy Blanchard, recently told News Nation host Ashley Banfield she looked forward to belatedly celebrating Christmas with Gypsy Rose upon her release and also planned a spa day for her. "When I'm at home with my family, with my husband's arms around me, and I'm surrounded by my loved ones, that is when I will be happy," Gypsy Rose told People. She is publishing a book in January 2024, hoping to be an advocate for other victims of Munchausen by proxy. Blanchard first told the News leader in 2021 she was writing a book detailing the years-long abuse by Dee and her incarceration. According to the Enquirer, Blanchard is set to publish an e-book titled Released: Conversations on the Eve of Freedom on January 9, 2024. The book is expected to include exclusive information about Blanchard's time in prison, as well as personal photos, drawings, and illustrations from her past. She reportedly hopes to meet Taylor Swift. Unexpectedly, one of Blanchard's primary goals following her release is to meet her music idol, Taylor Swift. TMZ reported in November that she and husband Ryan have tickets for the Kansas City Chiefs NFL game on December 31 in Kansas City, Missouri, where she hopes to meet Swift. The pop star is currently dating Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce and has appeared at a number of his games this season. Blanchard told the outlet she used commissary money from her father to buy all of Swift's albums and that her song Eyes Open particularly inspired her to overcome her past trauma. Let's tell the full story now. The story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mother, Dee Dee, falsely claimed her daughter was suffering from different illnesses until Gypsy arranged for her boyfriend to kill her mother in 2015. Gypsy Rose Blanchard grew up with her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, making claims about her health that resulted in a series of dire diagnoses and medical interventions. However, Gypsy wasn't actually unwell. Her mother had been lying about her symptoms. Experts believe Dee Dee's behavior stemmed from the mental disorder Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Because Dee Dee wanted to be a caretaker, she feigned and induced illness in her daughter. The truth about Gypsy and her mother only came out after Gypsy arranged for an online boyfriend to murder Dee Dee in 2015. Dee Dee began pretending that Gypsy had different illnesses when Gypsy was a baby. Gypsy Rose, who was born in 1991, was a baby when Dee Dee claimed her daughter had sleep apnea. When Gypsy was 8 years old, Dee Dee described her as suffering from leukemia and muscular dystrophy and said she required a wheelchair and feeding tube. The list of medical problems that Dee Dee related about her daughter would go on to include seizures, asthma, and hearing and visual impairments. Due to Dee Dee's actions, Gypsy was prescribed a litany of medications and had to sleep using a breathing machine. She also went through multiple surgeries, including procedures on her eyes and removal of her salivary glands. When Gypsy's teeth rotted, perhaps due to her medications, missing salivary glands, or neglect, they were pulled out. Yet the truth was that Gypsy could walk, didn't need a feeding tube, and didn't have cancer. Her head was bald only because her mother shaved off her hair. Experts believe Dee Dee had a mental illness known as Munchausen syndrome by proxy, also called factitious disorder imposed on another, which made her fabricate her daughter's ill health in order to receive attention and sympathy for taking care of a sick child. Dee Dee appeared to be a charming, devoted mother, so people believed her. Medical tests often showed inconclusive or contradictory results regarding Gypsy's diagnoses, but Dee Dee would stop seeing any doctors who questioned her daughter's ailments, and many caregivers went along with what Dee Dee wanted. She'd had some nurses' training, so she could accurately describe symptoms, and she sometimes gave Gypsy medication to mimic certain conditions. Dee Dee was also charming and seemed devoted to her daughter. When Gypsy was old enough to talk, Dee Dee instructed her not to volunteer information during their appointments. She was always the one relating Gypsy's fake medical history. Dee Dee told Gypsy's father, Rod Blanchard, that their daughter had a chromosomal disorder that had led to her many health issues. He complimented Dee Dee for her devoted care. When some of Dee Dee's family noticed that Gypsy didn't seem to need a wheelchair and asked questions, Dee Dee and Gypsy moved away. Dee Dee claimed to be a victim of Hurricane Katrina, so she and Gypsy received assistance to relocate from Louisiana to Missouri in 2005. There, Dee Dee continued to bring Gypsy to doctor's appointments. Hurricane Katrina also provided an excuse for missing medical files. Even when Gypsy was a teenager, Dee Dee still claimed she was sick and began to lie about Gypsy's age. In 2008, Gypsy and Dee Dee moved into a new home in Springfield, Missouri. Built by Habitat for Humanity, it was painted pink and had a wheelchair ramp. Gypsy and Dee Dee also received benefits that included charity, sponsored visits to concerts in Disney World. All along, Dee Dee continued to bask in the attention she received for being a devoted caretaker. When Gypsy was 14, she saw a neurologist in Missouri who came to believe she was a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. However, this doctor never reported her case to authorities. In later interviews, he stated his belief that there wasn't enough evidence to act. In 2009, an anonymous report was made to authorities stating that Dee Dee's accounts of Gypsy's ailments had no medical basis. This resulted in 2 caseworkers visiting their home, but Dee Dee convinced them there was nothing wrong. As Gypsy grew older, Dee Dee began to lie about her age, going so far as to alter the dates on Gypsy's birth certificate to make her daughter seem younger. But Gypsy was still becoming harder for Dee Dee to control. Gypsy convinced a man she met online to kill Dee Dee. In 2011, Gypsy tried to get away from her mother by running away with a man she'd met at a science fiction convention. But Dee Dee soon tracked them down via mutual friends. She convinced the man that Gypsy was a minor, though she was actually 19 at the time. According to Gypsy, Dee Dee smashed her computer and physically restrained her to her bed after they returned home. Gypsy has also stated her mother would sometimes hit her and deny her food. Gypsy eventually managed to get back online. She joined a Christian dating site where she met Nicholas Godejohn. She told him the truth about her mother's actions and ended up asking him to kill Dee Dee so they could be together. In June 2015, he came to her house and stabbed Dee Dee while Gypsy waited, ears covered, in the bathroom. Gypsy and Godejohn returned to his home in Wisconsin, where they were found by police. Gypsy had twice posted to the Facebook account she shared with her mother, once writing that B is dead. She later explained she made the post because she wanted her mother's body to be discovered. Gypsy was afraid and believed she didn't have anyone to trust. After Dee Dee's murder, many people who'd known Gypsy wondered why she had gone so far as to kill her. Since she could walk, she simply could have exposed Dee Dee's lies by standing up in public. Yet, Gypsy had been conditioned to think no one would believe her. She explained, I couldn't just jump out of the wheelchair because I was afraid and I didn't know what my mother would do. I didn't have anyone to trust. The fact was that Gypsy had spent her entire life being controlled and monitored by her mother. She wasn't allowed to go to school. Although Gypsy was of normal intelligence, Dee Dee told everyone her daughter had a mental age of 7. When they were out in public, Dee Dee constantly held Gypsy's hand, squeezing it when she wanted her daughter to be quiet. Dr. Mark Feldman, an expert in Munchausen syndrome by proxy, said of Gypsy's life and actions, the control was total in the same sense that the control of a kidnapped victim sometimes is total. Her daughter was, in essence, a hostage, and I think we can understand the crime that occurred subsequently, in terms of a hostage trying to gain escape. Now out of prison, Gypsy is not happy that Dee Dee is dead. As Gypsy's medical records documented the abuse she'd been subjected to, her lawyer was able to arrange a plea deal for the charges she faced in Dee Dee's death. In 2016, Gypsy pled guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison and served 85% of her sentence before being released December 28, 2023. Godejohn was found guilty of first-degree murder in 2018 and was sentenced to life in prison. Gypsy has stated it was only after Dee Dee's death that she realized the extent of her mother's deception. While Gypsy had known she could walk and eat regular food, she had believed she had leukemia. Today, Gypsy is healthy. She's also said she enjoyed more freedom in prison than in the life she shared with Dee Dee. However, when asked by Dr. Phil if she was glad her mother was dead, she stated, I'm glad that I'm out of that situation, but I'm not happy she's dead. As we conclude our deep dive into the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, we've uncovered a web of secrets, twists, and turns that kept us on the edge of our seats. True crime enthusiasts, your support means the world to us. If you found this exploration as fascinating as we did, don't forget to subscribe to Crime Doc for more riveting investigation. What true crime story would you like us to unravel next? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and never stop seeking the truth. This is Crime Doc signing off.